What's going on, y'all? Goofy Rexy here. Hope everybody is doing well. And as I usually do every single patch, I want to talk about patch priorities, right? So now we're into patch 6.2, and it's always trying to figure out, okay, well, what teams, what characters should I be investing into here for this patch? Which ones are the best investments? So we're going to be talking about that here from top to bottom, some of the new teams and new characters that are there, and then sort of just give you my thoughts. So let's actually jump into it. I think the first order of operations, in my opinion, would be if you have not finished your Scourge teams yet, that's definitely what you should focus on, right? We know that this patch, we will have the Famine Scourge event, where you will need Young Avengers or A-Force or Inhumans, depending, or all three, depending on what sort of stars you are pushing for here. So for me personally, I'm already kind of done with my Scourge teams. I've got my Young Avengers up to 85 and 15. I think that the Young Avengers is probably going to be the main team for these Famine Scourge events. So I'm definitely putting sort of my highest investment into that team, and we're done where that is concerned. But I do think that although I've been a little bit down on this team, I am starting to realize their value a lot, and it's the A-Force team. And as you can see, I have boosted them up quite a bit, probably further than what I expected to. Initially, I was planning on just leaving Captain Marvel at 80 and probably 14. And as you can see where the rest of the characters are, they're at 80 and 14 as well. Now, I am probably going to leave them there for the duration of the patch. I do think that this will be enough for a secondary team to use them in the Scourge event, but there's a lot of additional value that I'm getting out of A-Force right now, where I'm using them against Young Avengers along with Doom. Now that matchup is probably mostly about Doom, but even apart from that, they can still beat the Young Avengers team. You just got to have a pretty beefy Captain Marvel to be able to do it, which is a reason why you've seen that I've gone with some higher investment into Captain Marvel. I also might need to switch up some of these ISOs as well. Probably want to go with Skirmisher on Nico, but yeah, I do think that this team is better than what I thought that they were. I found a lot of really good value with using them alongside Doom to beat Young Avengers. That matchup has gone pretty well. They're also kind of a hybrid team that I've been able to use as well for Cosmic Crucible. So definitely getting some value there. And Nico and Spider-Woman, I actually did use in the heart section of the Ace of Raids, a Gambit raid. So I guess I am getting some value there where that is concerned. Now, the Inhumans are also characters that you can use for the Scourge event as well. I kind of sort of I went pretty heavy into Black Bolt because I am using him in some arena matchups right now. I'm using him against some of the hybrid Dormammu hybrids with, like, I'll see Eternals with Dormammu. I will use Black Bolt there because, of course, the burp, being able to keep them from reviving. That definitely is helpful. I'm not using them against Dormhole though. This is not going to work. I don't believe that that's going to work using Black Bolt as sort of a plug and play character there. But I'm not really sure about any sort of additional investment into Inhumans. I'm thinking probably maybe I'll throw Black Bolt in with A-Force as a secondary team. Maybe I'll go with Yo-Yo there. I know that some players have invested into Crystal, maybe Quake, because there are a better free-to-play option as to where the Young Avengers right now, Kate Bishop, Echo, they're not farmable, so the options there are very light. Spider-Man Miles is available though, so therefore I would probably go in that direction. And maybe you can add in another, I would say, yeah, but you can probably go in that direction. I'm fumbling up on my thoughts were there, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not really convinced about Inhumans yet. I'm sort of kind of leaving them where they're at. Maybe as we go throughout the Scourge event, if I realize that there's an opportunity to get a higher score, if I had the time to also do multiple runs of Scourge, then I'll probably go into Crystal. I'm hearing that it's not a bad direction to go in. I think some players are mentioning that Crystal actually may be okay for the team. And if you're really shooting for high numbers, you're probably going to want to use all three teams anyways, because that's probably what it's going to require, right? But let's talk about this new team that's here. And I'm going to show you where my team is, just for transparency, right? It's Unlimited X-Men. But a lot of you guys know that we've had the opportunity to test the team out here on the playtest server. So I'll show you what they look like on the playtest server, sort of built out. We have been able to test and use Rogue as well on the playtest server. And the question for me right now, and I've kind of gone back and forth with this, is whether or not you should actually build this team. I'll go back to where my team is. Whether or not you should actually build this team, and I haven't built them out, as you can see, at all, other than Gambit. I'm starting to think that this probably may be the best patch to build them out. And the reason why I say that is this is technically one of their lighter patches, right? This is really a 7-character patch in terms of the 3 reworks to Thor, to Sif, to Heimdall, and then the 2 new characters for the Hero Asgardian team. And then this patch, we're getting Rogue and Sunfire, although you can kind of say it's a 9-character patch because technically Gambit's event is not until this patch, and Dazzler's event, the bulk of it is going to be also, well, a decent amount of it, a decent chunk is also going to be in this patch as well. So in a lot of ways, it kind of still sort of shapes out to be like a little bit of a 9-character patch, but I don't know. I think this is probably going to be the best patch to build them. And the reason why I'm going to say that is there's not a lot of stuff going on. There's not a lot of other teams that you have to build out right now, unless you're not done with your Scourge teams yet. If you were building out your Scourge teams last patch, then for this patch, Unlimited X-Men will probably make sense, mainly because you are going to need them eventually, and meaning this is a ladder patch kind of provides you with the opportunity to be able to build them out. Granted that you are able to get the characters already. If not, then of course that's going to be a little bit more challenging for you. Now, in regards to like their performance, I think they're definitely going to be one of the best CC teams. I think Tyler did a video showing them going up against Darkhold. They are able to beat Darkhold pretty well in Cosmic Crucible. Now, keep in mind that video, and I think he mentioned this too, that it is the playtest server, right? So teams are evenly matched. Everybody's at 85 and gear tier 15. 7 and 4 in terms of yellow stars and 4 red stars. So it will be different depending on where you get your Unlimited X-Men team, or depending on where the Unlimited X-Men team and where the Darkhold team is, right? It's going to depend on someone on the star level, because maybe Rogue won't be able to land an ability block on Morgan and it may not go well. But either way, they are going to be one of the best CC teams that are going to be there. Cosmic Crucible, I will say that they're still going to have some issues in other game modes. Maybe they will be okay in Tower. Maybe they'll be okay in some other areas. I definitely still think that Rogue and Gambit alongside 3 of the X-Men characters will probably be an option for your Doom raids, specifically not for your first 2 nodes, but specifically for your boss nodes. That is where I'm definitely going to see their value, specifically Rogue and Gambit, because of the ability blocks, the extra health that Gambit can provide based on his passive ability, and just really strong abilities from Rogue. I think in general you're going to find some solid value there. But other than that, I think this team, okay, let's backtrack. They are a good war defense team. This is something that we did realize on the playtest server, that they actually are a pretty good war defense team as well. They will pull some good matchups where they will force some players to be able to burn some teams. And being that you're going to have to build this team out anyways in order to be able to get Apocalypse, it probably makes sense to go in the direction to actually build out Unlimited X-Men. So therefore, that's sort of my verdict on the team. That's probably the direction that you want to go in. And they're, like I said, they're really pretty good in Cosmic Crucible. Now, the next team to talk about here is the Hero Asgardian team. And I will be honest, I think if you're looking to skip Asgardians, ABC, Asgardians, there we find them. If you're looking to probably skip a team this patch, or at least shelve a team, I should say, it's probably the Asgardian team. The reason why I'm very reluctant to say skipping teams anymore, because they make them needed for something, and I have a feeling that this is probably going to be the next Scourge team, right? We had Young Avengers recently, we had Dark Hunters before, then we had A-Force that followed the Dark Hunters model where you have a 4-person team. Then we, like I said, Young Avengers, and then now we're looking at probably the next Scourge team, because in reality, what other options are there? Now, there could be that team that's released next patch, but I do think that the team that's released next patch is probably going to be one of the teams that are needed, and maybe the team then for this patch, I think Hero Asgardians could also be added. So yeah, you kind of get what I'm saying here in regards to the Scourge team. So I do think that Hero Asgardians probably are going to be that next team, but I say for this patch, I probably would shelve them. Yes, try to unlock the characters, try to get the shards as many shards as possible for Valkyrie and for Mighty Thor, right? Definitely try to do that. But in terms of going hard on this team, I don't think you need to. Now, they are very good on war defense. Not very good, but there are a pretty solid, good war defense team. I think probably the reliable counters that most players are going to use. Maybe it's Infinity Watch, right? Like maybe you go in that direction, or maybe you slide Infinity Watch to Unlimited X-Men if you're going to see Unlimited X-Men teams on war defense, and then maybe Eternals. I mean, unless there's another Eternals mirror match, like maybe you go in that direction to go against Hero Asgardians. Because one thing that I will say is that players probably will build this team out if they're really super serious about war, because it will stretch teams offensively, because there's Weapon X, who a lot of people are using against Stormhold. You have Dark Hunters, who people are building out to beat Heroes for Hire, because they want to use Weapon X against Stormhold. Secret Avengers, Kestrel is essentially being used right now against the Marauders team. So you're kind of stretched offense. Uncanny's now being built off for Web Warriors, because a lot of Web Warriors teams are on defense, right? So it's like you're gonna be stretched offensively. So and the Hero Asgardian team is not a joke team. They definitely are a team that you want to pay attention to and make sure that you have a good counter towards. And Eternals don't really counter anything other than them. You're not really using Eternals specifically for anything else other than maybe a mirror match. So I do think that probably that's most likely where they'll go, or even Infinity Watch, like I said, could probably go against them as well. So you'll probably make a decision. Hey, either I use Eternals against Unlimited X-Men if they're on defense, or I use Eternals against Hero Asgardians if people build them out, right? So that's kind of the direction that you're gonna have to go, and I think is where things are going to shape up, but we'll definitely have to see. So those are sort of my thoughts in regards to what to build out here. Obviously, save some space if you want to for passion projects. I know I'm definitely going to be doing that for this patch. For me, Uncanny X-Men are probably going to be my passion project team. Yes, I know I'm also going to recommend doing Unlimited X-Men, right? So for me, I'm saying I'm probably going to double dip and double down a little bit here on Uncanny, and also working on my Unlimited X-Men team. Definitely going to boost up Rogue as much as I possibly can. But yeah, save it for maybe a team that you just want to invest into, because hey, you just want to invest. So those are my thoughts, guys. Curious as to where your thoughts are. What are you thinking about for this patch? Like, do you think maybe your arena team hasn't been solidified yet? Maybe you still need to work on some raid teams. I completely get that. But in terms of this patch and the options that are available right now, I do think that, yeah, priority probably will definitely be your Scourge teams. Finish those off. I think Unlimited X-Men, you're going to need them later on. This is kind of the patch to do it, because there's not a lot of characters in this patch. So it will make sense to kind of get that out of the way now, and then focus on future investments later on. Maybe then Hero Asgardians towards the end of the patch, or maybe you wait until they're actually officially confirmed as a Scourge team, if that is what they are going to be. All right. Listen, guys, appreciate you watching the video. Until next time, y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe.